Let's get the picture of this squirrel as he runs. There's the squirrel. All right. We finished music appreciation for this week, which was a short week, and we went over Mozart, who's in the middle of the three big ones from the classical period, who are Haydn, wrote the Surprise Symphony, Mozart, who wrote about 40 symphonies. Strangely, the number of symphonies that each composer wrote is diminishing, because Haydn wrote 104 symphonies, Mozart wrote only less than half that many, and then Beethoven wrote 9, and many people after Beethoven were quite intimidated to write a symphony. Like Brahms's symphonies, he only wrote 4, and I think he started one when he was 40, whereas Haydn seemed like he was writing symphonies when he was 10. So the age that they start symphonies and what number of symphonies they wrote is decreasing. The complexity and the length of each symphony is increasing, as well as the instruments. So we noticed that we had timpani now in the classical period, we had trombones, we were focused on some things from Austria, and we looked at both an Italian opera that Mozart wrote, The Magic Flute, and we looked at a Requiem Mass. And then we talked about the virtue of love and the antithesis of it, the vice of sloth, which is refusal to participate in the divine nature. And it is a great character lesson to try to find ways to avoid sloth once we've gotten into the semester, and not every plan and idea of ours is prospering greatly. But if we persevere, things shall be blessed. And I think the Lord Jesus will help us with that. So here we are. Somebody is doing something creative on campus, I can tell. It is being built up. I noticed even some people that were dressed in black as they were, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I felt sure this is probably a performing group, that either it's like a dress rehearsal or they've got an early morning concert. And in my last live, my daughter asked me, like, what's my favorite time of day for a concert? And I realized I so rarely ever play a concert before the sun is fully up in the air. Now, worship times, definitely. Morning worship once a week is beautiful. It's not a concert, but it's something good. Whereas concerts, I like lunchtime concerts. I like afternoon concerts, especially on weekends. Evening concerts in the summer are really fun. And I also realized that the acoustics on this campus, I'm really hoping to get some, hi Kevin, some concerts, some classical concerts going on this campus where I teach, because they're somewhat limited in the amount of classical music they can get out to, and some of them have jobs, which I think is really noble. It's a hardworking class, and so I'd like to provide some music here. There is a church. I'm going to flip it around. That is the church that I'm hoping to go to some. Step onto the road here. And what's really neat about them, they're faithful Christians, and want to have a really big arts ministry and use their facility for encouraging artists, except the facility is somewhat decaying, And part of it is going to have to be torn down, but I don't think it's going to be the main part where people would play or listen to music. It seems to be this big office building. So I should take a picture of that because one day it won't be here. There it is. So this is my tour of the university, and we're getting ready to neat. Yay, you should subscribe to this channel. We're all about the intersection of faith and art and music. And for this weekend, camping, I'm going to do a Kentucky premiere of my piece called Ezekiel, about dry bones, very shortly with some old friends from college. I'm excited about that, but we have to pack, so I have to get in the car and get the last minute things. Nice to meet everyone. Hope you subscribe and I see you back again. All right, God bless. Bye.